Hi there, this is Jennifer with Broma Fields, and today we are on day 9 of our 21 days of cable knit stitches. And this is a wavy bobble stitch. It is a 12 row repeat, and we will be doing several rows because it weaves it's a smaller cable, so it's a cable like on every row, every front side row. So this one is going to be a little long. Now I have a total of 13 stitches on my needle, and I am using size 15 knitting needles, and I am using Red Hearts Aura and Italian Story yarn. It's a roving and it's super bulky. And let's see, it says to use a size 15. So that's what size I'm using. So we are starting here. I have done, this is one set, one repeat. So this is 12 rows. So I'm going to start on row 1 and do the next set. So with the yarn in the front, slip 1 purlwise. I'm going to purl these first 5 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to T3 back. So I'm going to slip 1 stitch onto my cable needle. So I'm going to hold my right hand needle in the front, and then I'm going to slip this first stitch off and hold it in the back of my work. And then I'm going to knit the next 2 stitches off my left hand needle, and then I'm going to purl the stitch off of this back cable, this cable. So we're have this wavy cable on a reverse stockinette stitch. So now we're right lean, doing just a slight right lean with using 3 stitches instead of 4. So 4 creates a bulkier cable. So now we're going to purl these last 3 stitches, and then we're creating this nice clean edge. So whenever you're on the purling the stitches, you're going to slip that last stitch with the yarn in the front. All right. So the wrong side rows are all knits and purls. So I'm going to knit row 2, and then I will come back and show you row 3. Alrighty, so we're ready for row 3. And it's also a T3B. So we're going to twist 3 back. So with the yarn in the front, we're going to slip that first stitch purlwise, purl 4 stitches, and then T3B. So again, we're going to hold that yarn in the front, and we're just moving this cable one more stitch to the right. So we're going to do this right leaning cable here. So we're going to slip 1 and hold it in the back and see how it's a purl stitch. So we're going to move this purl from this side of the cable to this side of the cable. So we're going to knit 2 stitches off our left hand needle, and then we're going to purl this stitch here in the back. So the cable's going further to the right, and I moved 1 purl stitch from the right to the left. And then we're going to purl 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. With yarn in front, we're slipping that one. So then I will knit and purl row 4 and I will be back with row 5. Alrighty, so now we are ready for row 5. And we're going to move this cable over one more to the right. So with the yarn in front, slip one purlwise, purl 3 stitches, hold this first stitch here in the back, knit 2 off the cable needle, no, off the left hand needle, and then we're going to purl 1 off the cable needle. So whenever you have a twist, I notice that it includes a purl stitch, and whenever you cable, it's all knit stitches. Now we're going to purl 5 stitches for our reverse stocking knit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with the yarn in the front, we're going to slip 1 purlwise. And then I will knit row 6 and I will come back for row 7. All right, so nope, I'm going to show you row 6 because this is the row that has our bobble. So we're going to put a bobble over here on this side. So with, let's see here, I'm going to need a little bit more slack. I'm going to knit 1 through the back loop. And then we're going to knit 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to make the bobble. So in this 1 stitch, we're going to turn it into 3 stitches. So I'm going to knit, purl, knit into this 1 stitch. So I'm going to knit into it normal, and without taking it off the left hand needle, I'm going to bring my yarn forward and then I'm going to purl into that stitch, and then I'm going to bring my yarn into the back, try not to catch it, and it does get tight, and then I'm going to knit into the back of the stitch, and then I will drop that off. So I created 3 stitches in that 1 stitch. And now I'm going to turn my work over to the front side and I'm going to knit into those 3 stitches. I'm going to do that 3 times. So that was the first, this is the first time. And then we're going to flip it back over to the back side of our work. And then this is our second time knitting into the bobble, and this is the 3rd time, and this is the right side of our work, and we are making the bobble on the wrong side, so we're going to flip it back over to the wrong side, and now I'm going to SK2PO. So slip this first stitch as if to knit, and then we're going to knit 2 together, and then we're going to pass the slipped stitch over. So we decreased 2 stitches, and now I have 1 stitch left on our bobble, and the bobble pokes out on the right side, and then we're going to purl 2 stitches. Oh, I just popped it back the wrong way. All right, so we're going to purl these next 2 stitches, and then we're going to knit 3 stitches, and knit 1 through the back loop, and that is our bobble. And it looks fantastic. So that was like the first half of this wave. And now we're going to do the other half. So instead of doing a T3B for the back, we're going to do a T3F for front. So instead of leaning to the right, now we're going to twist it and lean it to the left. All right, so we are now on row 7 with our yarn in the front. We're going to slip 1 purlwise and purl 3 stitches. And then T3 front. So that means we're going to slip 2 stitches. So this is the cable, so we're going to hold it in the front. We're going to lean it to the left. So then we're going to purl this stitch off of our left-hand needle. We're going to bring that yarn in front. We're going to pull that out so I don't lose those stitches. And very carefully kind of bring our bobble up front. I guess we're just going to leave it in the back there. That's where it wants to be. We're going to knit those 2 stitches, our cable here, off of our cable needle. Bring that bobble forward now. And then we're going to purl 5 stitches. Three, 4, 5, and then with the yarn in the front, we're going to slip that last stitch off. So that is another bobble. I think that is too cute. So I will be back. I'm going to do row 8 because it's knits and purls, and then I will be back for row 9. Alrighty, so we are ready for row 9. So we're going to take this cable and move it 1 more stitch over to the left. So with the yarn in the front, I'm going to slip that first stitch purlwise. I'm going to purl 4 stitches. And then we're going to T3F for front. We're going to slip these first 2 stitches onto our cable needle and hang them in the front. And then we're going to purl the stitch there on that left-hand needle. So we're going to move it to the right. And then we're going to knit these 2 stitches off the cable needle. Oops. Then we're going to purl 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to slip this last one with the yarn in the front. Then I'm going to knit row 10, and then I'll be back to show you row 11 and 12. We have 1 more bobble to make, so I'll be right back. Alrighty, so now we are ready for row 11. So with the yarn in the front, we're going to slip 1 purlwise, purl 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to T3 front. So we're going to slip those 2 knit stitches as cables off into the front, purl 1 off the left-hand needle, and then knit 2 off the cable needle. And then purl these last 3 stitches. Then with the, oops, I didn't get that whole stitch. There we go. With the yarn in the front, we're going to slip 1 purlwise. Now we are ready for row 12, so we're going to make our bobble. So we're going to alternate it, put it on the other side, and that creates the wave. So row 12, where this is our last row, and then you get to start all over again. Actually, it goes pretty quick, and the bobbles aren't quite so scary. It looks like a lot. And it looks scary because you have twists and turns, but not so bad. So we're going to knit 1 through the back loop, and then we're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3, purl 2, knit 1, and then we're going to make our bobble. So we're going to knit, purl, knit. We're going to turn this 1 stitch into 3. So we're going to knit, purl, knit, without dropping that stitch off. Now we're going to drop it off. And we're going to bring that yarn into the front and turn our work. So this is, now we see the right side, and we're going to knit, garter stitch for 3 rows. So this is 1, we're going to flip it over again for 2, flip it over again for 3, because we're on our right side of our work again, and we want to be on the wrong side because that's what row we're on. Row 12 is the wrong side of our work. So we're going to slip this first stitch as if to knit, and we're going to knit 2 together. So we're going to make these 3 stitches back into 1, and then we're going to slip this stitch over that knit 2 together. So dropping that back down to 1 stitch, and then we're going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and knit 1 through the back loop. And that is it, guys. All right, so do need to, that one's a lot tighter than this one here. This one was a little looser. So this one was a little looser. So it will take a little bit of practice to be a little more consistent. And it does curl a little bit, but once you sew, if you're making this into a headband, you sew that seam together and you put it on, not gonna be curled at all. And if you wanted to, you could make it a little narrower, but I wanted it wide, so this really could pop. So I have it a little wide, but if you're making it smaller for someone younger, you could take off a stitch on either side and cast on 11 stitches instead of 13. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's new stitch, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 10, and thank you so much for watching.